Blatant disregard for the rules going on here.
My candle just detonated out of nowhere. How the f does that happen?
I'll drop trowel again.
Carter goes naked on stream.
Forward or backwards for Adidas? I mean, dropping Kanye and then gaining D3 Young.
I mean, if they were out of line.
In social media or tennis influencer?
Favorite tennis influencers? Do you guys have? Let's just get into it. No. My boy Winston Du. This guy just gets hella views on all his tennis videos, and he just like plays random people. But it's like an interesting viewpoint. He talks about his opponent at the start, and he like, oh my god.
This is the shit though that like
USTA 4.5 baseliner versus USTA 4.5 pusher, and that sounds.
this is like
Yo, make it full screen.
Sounds like Eric. That sounds like me playing Eric.
yeah. Except I think both these guys hit with a continental grip on their serve.
Speaking of which, did you guys see that viral TikTok that's going around or Instagram reels where it's like basically like the news that you're dreading from your coach, and like when coach says use the continental grip? Did you send that in the group, or did somebody send that in the group? Eric DM'd it to me. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah. And that's like a doctor telling a parent that their kids just died right there.
I should find that video. Yeah, Eric DM'd it to me, and it was like when your coach says use the continental grip, and it was like a horror movie like thing, and I was like, dude, I've been doing it my whole life. Like, it's the only grip I know how to use. That's what happens when you have a football coach for a high school tennis coach.
Ike, why was that dude your favorite influencer?
I don't know. He's interesting. He gets the camera angles money. He sets up a garbage can behind his thing with a GoPro, and then just clips up the video. I think it looks super professional, super easy to watch, and he has really good like thumbnails. So it like draws you in. I don't know. And the videos are solid. Like the dude's like inarguably one of the most boring dudes ever, and he like gets viewership. I like that.
Well, that's you go.
I'm not going to answer the question directly, but most insufferable tennis social media presence definitely goes to Holger Rune. For one, anytime he does anything good, even if it's like winning a challenger match, he reposts everything from all of his fans. So his Instagram story is like 3 days long. And then two, there's really only two reasons. So one is he reposts all this shit, and half the time it's really arrogant. And two, he's definitely dating his sister. He always reposts everything about his sister. They post these like cute pictures together. They're definitely dating. We could have a whole show on whether or not Holger and his sister Alma Rune are dating, but it will be confirmed one day.
Why, they just get saucy in pictures together, or how do you know this?
Yeah. I threw it in the group chat. It looks ridiculous. Let's see if I can bring it up and put it on screen here.
You know, that's funny you bring that up, Carter, because I think we had a friend in college where, you know, that was sometimes, you know, people would talk and be like, is this guy dating his sister? They just posted a lot of pictures together. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Oh, wait a minute.
Big Mike. Big Mike. Okay, but look at this though. Seriously. Definitely dating.
Dude, that's just like brother and sisterly love.
Those are it's borderline. I get what you're saying.
I mean, Jared, you definitely post some pictures with your loving sister Cameron like that. Yep. You know, I'm not saying that's right or wrong.
To me, that doesn't strike me as anything too far.
Oh, what?
Yeah, well, wait a minute. I don't know.
That one's a bad picture right there.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Put that one back up there. I want to see that one again.
Oh man, this is tough for Mr. Rune.
Holger.
That's a tough look. I can't defend that one.
That's odd.
Holger. Dang. What about Morgan Riddle? What do you guys think about her?
I loved the video of Taylor just absolutely not holding back on her when they were playing at the UCLA courts a couple weeks ago. You guys see those videos? He's just like bombing serves at her.
Yeah, and you know, one thing about Morgan Riddle that I love, she's a Minnesota gal. You know, she went to Camp Emmaus with one of our good friends, Noah Johnson, with his now wife, Laura Johnson. And so, yeah, Taylor wasn't at the wedding and neither was Morgan, which shitty friends, I guess, but
It's too
I
bad.
think that's cool.
Yeah.
Being from Minnesota is definitely not her best feature.
I would agree.
Yeah, she got.
I'd say it's a detractment.
She's in tennis.com. She got 2023 year in review. She was top 5 must follow accounts for tennis, which was interesting. I don't think they came out with all 5 things so far, but I think Casper Ruud was on there as well. And Holger, I think, might have been on there as well. So it's interesting that she gets in the mix when she doesn't play tennis.
Yeah.
There's I don't know if you guys know the channel itself. It's CS99 TV, and they're actually a baseball channel, but they're the ones you probably saw. They had the viral videos that were tennis baseball, where like they would be like a kid would like fire it from shortstop to first as like a forehand feed and just absolutely rope it, and they were playing baseball with tennis. Like those videos went super viral, like even to the point where like I think my dad was like sending me this like, hey, have you seen some of these? And they're like a baseball page, but that was some of the coolest tennis related content that I had seen that like would maybe make the casual person interested in the idea. CS99 TV, yeah, they played a full game with the rackets, and it like there's at least one guy in the crew. I think it's the one on the right there. He's like insanely skilled. Like, and they'll do BP sessions, and he'll throw pitches, quote unquote pitches, with his racket, and he's like hitting crazy slices or like inside out, and like it looks like a pitcher throwing a crazy curveball. I mean, he's insanely skilled.
So I get that this guy is skilled, and what they do is super impressive. There's no way like you could go out there and just do this. Like this is like a very like one-off thing, right? Other schools couldn't replicate this, could they?
I think we could do it. I don't think it's that hard.
You don't think so? Crushing
No,
baseball,
because I've done it before.
You
tennis
think
ball? That's right on a dime. You think you can do that?
Accuracy right there is crazy. But I think it stems from them being really good baseball players, not necessarily good tennis players. I mean, it looks like he has some tennis background. I'm not sure, but
that's definitely a tennis player.
Isaac, you also feed weird as hell, so like it might be challenging for you, but like, for the rest of us.
Yeah,
like,
being able to throw the pitches, have the repertoire with the racket, definitely a tennis player. Definitely a really good
being
one
able
too.
to feed is a skill. Like
that's
in
just
general.
time.
Yeah, that's a laser.
Yeah.
and these guys are probably better than we'd be at it because they've probably practiced a million times. But I think we could easily. That would actually be super fun.
Let's take them on. Let's bring them on. Let's get it going.
I'm
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
There's a reason why they keep showing.
We got 9 guys ready for y'all. CS99 TV.
Yeah.
They keep showing the same dude. I have a feeling that one dude is just like
I
significantly
think he leads
better than
the
the
way
rest of
for
them.
sure. Yeah, I think he's got the tennis background.
He's leader of the boys.
Yeah, but they even brought him on. They even brought him on some other baseball pages to try to get him to pitch with his racket and see if they could hit it. I mean, like it was like a big thing for a while there.
Yeah, King of JUCO has had him on. Who's
King
like,
of JUCO, that guy. Yeah,
yeah.
Hitting a
Oh,
tennis ball straight is really hard too because the tennis ball will like form.
yeah.
It's
So not
really
necessarily a tennis
malleable.
influencer, but I do like what they're doing, and I like it when pages kind of venture out into that world.
Yeah.
So, I would just all cap things off here. I've got the Holy Trinity. We've got Rachel Stuhlman. We've got Gary the tennis
Who's Rachel
coach.
Stuhlman?
What?
Who's Rachel Stuhlman?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. Go on Instagram, brother.
Rachel Stuhlman.
She played for Mizzou.
Talk
She
about
does that
her.
overserve pod.
Never heard of over what?
Overserved. It's like a tennis podcast. I've never actually listened to it, but number 1 tennis influencer, former Mizzou Tiger, overserved podcast. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. It's like porn, David.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it's
it
not.
essentially is.
Bruce follows her. Look at this, Bruce Gullickson.
Don't expose Bruce like that.
Rachel.
What? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's legit. I
Yeah.
like her. But then I would say Jimmy Butler, I think the only influencing he's actually done is when he was a ball boy at the US Open, and that I really hate him as a basketball player. I think he's kind of a dick, but like he likes
How do
tennis,
you-
that's cool.
How do you spell this, Rachel?
STUHLMANN.
Oh,
I don't know if it's for. I mean, should I just pop it up? Does it matter for the brand?
Absolutely,
an
bring her up.
independent-
Yeah, free,
jeez, buddy.
she's a
gotta
tennis
bonk-
influencer.
You gotta bonk David with the horny stick for this one.
This is her Instagram.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman.
David called
She's
her the
also a
Holy
very good
Trinity.
tennis player.
Yeah.
Looks like that's why
I
she's
realized
got
why you
followers.
like her, Dave.
Yeah, she's growing the game to a new audience.
Are those the
Um,
people we want?
She's growing
Yeah,
something.
those are the people you want in your fan base,
Yeah.
dude.
oh yeah.
She's
But
got
then Gary, the
something-
tennis
something-
coach, as
something
well.
David's growing.
What?
She's got something growing, David. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she does
Boy.
grow in the game.
Bonk. Bonk.
Guilty as charged. But then finally, Gary, the tennis coach, for a former janitor to lead a lowly team to the Nebraska State tennis title. He may not be real, but that's a story anybody can get behind.
Dave, you hear anything about Osaka?
Yeah, so actually, there was a report out today that she hit the practice court on Christmas Day, returning to Brisbane. Osaka, obviously, 4-time Grand Slam champion. Why was she out? It wasn't because of a torn Achilles. She didn't get hit by a bus. She had a baby in July. So congratulations to Osaka. Really
She's
curious
won
to see
4
how she'll
majors?
do. What?
She's won 4 majors.
Yeah. She has
People
won. What?
I said people forget.
Who was
Yeah.
she playing when she like mispronounced her name in the trophy acceptance? She's like, "Do you prefer Jenny or Jennifer?" And
And then she said the wrong one.
she says Jennifer. She's like, "I prefer Jennifer." And then she's like, "I'd like to congratulate Jenny." And then I can't remember who it was, but the Jennifer chick is just like, when she says it.
Yeah. She's,
So, yeah,
she's
so-
also very unique, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jenny.
But I would say Osaka at the height of her career was one of not just the most like influential tennis players on the topic of influencers, but influential female athletes. 2-time Aussie Open champion, 2-time US Open champion. So we'll see. I mean, do you guys think she'll win a major in 24?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, but I like her.
I do too. Big mental health advocates. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's always unique, you know, when obviously as men we don't have babies. But you know, when somebody comes back from maternity leave, how are they going to perform?
I
I can't
think-
believe you just transphobia on the page.
Yeah.
Is that who we
Well,
want to
remember
be?
when Serena Williams cheated because she was
Yeah,
pregnant? So
well,
it's
she
like
should have been
had-
playing doubles. Yeah, she had
Yeah.
that baby in there. There's 2 of them. That's a doubles team.
Yeah, I forgot
You
about
can't-
that. That was
You can't
actually
be
an argument.
pro-life and not recognize that there were 2 players on the court there.
Yeah, yeah.
facts.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, so it seems like a consensus no majors for Osaka. We wish her well, obviously. But on the topic of, we were just talking about childbirth, balls. We all have balls. We all play with tennis balls. I just wanted to get a quick pulse, and maybe we can have our graphics team put something out on the Instagram and Twitter or X. What is the best ball to use when you're playing matches? Obviously, we're all seasoned players. You know, are you guys team US Open, Wilson US Opens, or no?
Wilson US Open all day. It's just the standard.
I'll go grab a can right now. I'll show you.
No.
Would you
fuck
like to
that.
hear my David? Would you like to hear my ball journey?
Yeah.
So, when I was younger, I always went bang for buck. So I would buy Penn, just straight up Penn balls.
Shit.
They're the most sold tennis ball in the world. That's what they say on their can. Always bought those throughout high school. Then once I went to college, started using different balls. We used Wilson US Opens more so because quality of the ball is a little bit higher. Those die faster in the second set from what I've seen. So you kind of need them just to be interchanged. You almost need 6 balls when you're playing couple sets.
Opens.
So I didn't really like that. Pro pens, Courts Plus has pro pens. I like those. Those sustain the balance quite a bit. Babolat Gold, money, same thing. Those are my 2 favorite.
Those Babolats kind of creeped up on me this past summer. I was a big fan, but I do consistently order the Wilson US Open for the Sartell boys tennis team.
Of course you do. You probably cheer for the Golden State Warriors.
Even a little bit of flack too from the former coaches. When I took over, we had a bunch of pens, and to be honest, they might have just been not even pro pen. They might have just been pen practice balls. They were not my favorite. So then when I took over, we started using these. I remember one of the old coaches came up and said, "Oh, the pens weren't good enough for you," and I said, "No, they weren't." It was time for something different. Now, I will say to your point, Isaac, none of my guys, are even myself included, are hitting the ball even with an ounce of the pace or spin that you're hitting it with. So we don't have to worry about them dying out quite as quickly as you might when you play one of your matches, but they get the job done.
Yeah.
That's
AKA I'm just hitting absolute nukes out there.
Nukes. Yeah. We don't bomb our kick serves. We hit flat, low slices, and we baseline, baby. That's why I got a lot of players that play like that. So
that's funny you bring up that story, Jared. My dad, I told him we were going to talk about this, and he's like, back in the 80s when he was just starting coaching high school tennis, they used to be like the state activities association would do a bid for balls, and then like every single team would use the same balls. And so they got NASA tennis balls. You guys heard of NASA?
No.
Yeah, there's a reason why. And so Vic stormed into the athletic department and was like, "I'm not fucking coaching with these." But that is such a high school, like, it's funny because in high school tennis, as you guys know, like, you get some coaches who know the game like very well. Like Jared, you played tennis and you know tennis. You also get coaches that know absolutely nothing about tennis. And I think the type of tennis ball that their team uses is a really good kind of indicator of how much the coach actually knows about tennis.
Right.
I
have the fortune of coaching with like a bunch of good, knowledgeable coaches like in our conference or in our section. I've got friend of the program, Kyle Fodness, that, and then also up at Detroit Lakes, we've got Zach Bigger. All right. And so and a bunch of local coaches that know Paul Bates at Tech, and these guys just know what they're doing. So it's never been a dispute around here, but yeah. Sorry for interrupting you, Jared. But I was gonna say sometimes in tournaments when it's very telling, like you were saying, David. When a tournament only gives out 2 balls and they don't give out the full can. I always have a very high judgment on them. Like I feel like I'd pay a higher entry fee for the 3 balls. That is such a local small town tournament thing to do. Nothing's better than a non-sanctioned, non-USTA local, summer Fiesta Days tournament, but they're stingy with their tennis balls.
Then Conti gets the used balls.
Yeah, Conti gets the 2 used from the pile.
Well, Isaac, do you remember in the Bismarck Open, we were getting ready to play Wyatt McCoy and Josh Oath out. Yeah, Wyatt was like, they only gave us 2 balls, so I brought some. And I come from rural roots. I'm pro 2 balls, fucking figure it out. There's 2 rallies going on. You theoretically only need 2 balls. You shouldn't miss that much. It's a luxury to have 3 to 4 balls. But it is funny, and as you get older in like USTA League, how many 3-5 4-0 geezers you get out there, and you're like getting ready to warm up, and they're like, "Hey, I've got like 8 to 12 balls like that. We're gonna, we can use them for a warm up." It's the best. And Paul
Yeah.
Thibodeau does that.
He does.
It'd bother me when randomly someone would want to like use one of their own balls for the match. It's like, no, we're not using two different kinds of balls.
The video.
Yes, and the video never got it, but no, I just think that's it's we need to be critics of our country and the media. As a media guy myself, need to hold people to a standard. And what I read in the Cincinnati Times doesn't necessarily mean what happened. God. Carter, why would you do that? That's sickening.
Well,
That's
if we're
my
talking
family.
if we're talking about our bios, that matches up with mine because, and I just sent it in the group chat, just in case you wanted to add it or show it. Yeah, maybe it's too far, maybe you don't want to, but I was chilling with my family on Christmas Day, and all of a sudden my eyes beheld a Photoshop of a nice family photo of ours in front of the Christmas tree, but the Christmas tree was gone, and behind it was the fiery Twin Towers on the day of 9/11. And that was just traumatic to see on the Lord's Day.
What did Tom think of it? Did you show him?
I did not. I refrained from showing my family. I think they would have asked if you were all right up in the head. I think that would have said, "Is David?" I would have had to say, "I don't."
I can't hear you, but I want you to show him and just
David's finest work.
Yeah, I was proud of that one. That's how that's how I spend my free time. So thank you.
That's what people
What about you?
pay for Canva for. Me? I just saw Dave's little handle right there. Harambe was the setup, and I just think this whole Harambe conversation needs to dwindle down now. It's been what, 10 years, 8 years since this monkey business started with Harambe. So
well, you can go to hell, or as 45 said on what's the name of his fucking thing? Snitch or Stitch? Truth Social, rotten hell. You should mute Carter right now. But Isaac, who is Jim? Is this Jim Abbott, former MLB player who had one arm? Is this Jim Rome, former ESPN host of Rome is Burning?
he is burning.
I feel like I'm trying to think. I think I've watched some videos with Carter on this guy, but
Danny Duncan.
Yeah, my boy Papa Jim from Danny Duncan. He died, back in 2022, but gone, never forgotten. At any month, any time during the year, especially around the holidays, you got to remember the great ones. Papa Jim was a great one. So want to make sure everyone's remembering Papa Jim.
Yeah. Well, every time you see a hot mom, you're thinking R.I.P.
Jared, don't you have one of those shirts? I
do have an I Heart Hot Mom shirt, and it was gifted to me by Carter.
That's right.
I think I have a Virginity Rock shirt somewhere.
Yeah, you would. I always laughed when I was working in college admission and I had a kid come in with one of those shirts on it. I mean, tickled my soul, but let's take a moment of silence for Jim. Okay. So on that topic, to cap things off tonight, we're talking about love. We're talking about virginity, safe sex, moms. It's no secret that in the sporting world, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, hottest couple in sport right now, baby. But football is going to be gone in about 10 years because of CTE. And so there's going to be opportunities for other sports to
Gonna be gone.
Yeah. I had a doctor once who straight up said, and this was 10 years ago, he said, 20 years from now, the NFL is not going to exist. And I said, does that mean money's not going to either? Because if money exists, the NFL is going to be there. I own him. But there's going to be opportunities for athletes and their significant others in other sports to steal the spotlight. We're going to have Jim Nantz. He may not be talking about Kelce and Swift. He'll be talking about Alcaraz and, I don't know, Jennifer Lopez.
Alcaraz and Raducanu, they've had some Twitter exchanges a little bit.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a power couple. But, yeah, I just wanted to pose the question, and there has to be one tennis player in the couple. But who is that power couple? And if it doesn't exist, what would make it?
Right.
Right.
Rune, Holger and Alma Rune.
I think if you're talking
Potential.
about power couples right now, I mean, if you look at historical players, you got to say Andre Agassi. He's married to Steffi Graf.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So
That's 30
I think
major,
you would
30
say-
singles majors in total.
Yeah, they would be number one. But I think like current day, still active players, I think you got to give it to Gael Monfils and Alina Svitolina.
Yep.
Both solid players.
I would agree. I would also say, yeah, historically, you got to put Andy Roddick and Brooke Shields up there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that she was a model. She was an actress.
It's not Brooke Shields.
Brooklyn
it's-
Decker.
Brooklyn Decker.
Brooklyn Decker. Fuck, not Brooke Shields. That's disrespectful. I'm sorry.
You're focusing on Rachel Stuhlman more than Brooklyn Decker, huh?
I am. It is funny though. I wish that we could have been a little bit younger or older, excuse me, when Roddick was in his prime. Like that guy was a savant, like in the sense that, like, I mean, yes, he won the U.S. Open at a very young age, but people in the United States gave a shit about him. Tennis players and non-tennis players. We haven't had that for an American male in our generation.
Yeah. I love
Do you think
seeing
that if you think that if Ben Shelton won a major too, you think people would give a shit about him because he's got some personality on the court?
I think Ben Shelton's knocking on the door. If he can put together, the problem is that we've seen with Americans that it's kind of a flash in the pan, and then it tends to fizzle out a little bit. If he can string together multiple competitive years in a row and have that level of showmanship without coming across as like a total dick, I think he's kind of knocking on the door of being relevant enough to make, I mean, when it comes to tennis, your only hope is to, like, man, maybe I make it on ESPN a couple times, or just like beyond the world of just tennis. I think he's the closest to kind of knocking on the door as far as American men in terms of pure personality.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shelton's
people are starting to take note of Big Foe a little bit and a couple of these other guys too, but I think when he had the hang up the phone celebration, it's like little things like that can really catch. And then all of a sudden, all it takes is one guy beyond the world of tennis. If you see an NFL, NBA player doing that, and all of a sudden we're referencing back to Ben Shelton, and it's like that's all it takes.
Dude, Djokovic doing it back to him was so cold.
That was cold.
I loved it.
That was
I
cold.
loved it.
Yeah.
Also,
that was-
Shelton totally deserved it. Like everyone, it's so easy to make Novak look like a villain, but like, I loved it.
No, I mean, yeah, you got it. If you're gonna dish it out, you got to be able to take it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's not
is a
forget-
flash in the pan at this point, though. He hasn't made a run at any other tournament.
No, and
other
that's
than
what
the
I'm
US
saying.
Open.
I fear that he's gonna have a down year or an injury, and he's only one, little irrelevant stretch away from kind of disappearing. So
Yeah, because he hasn't even made a run at like an ATP 250. I don't think, has he? He's made a run at no tournament except the U.S. Open.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Outside
Right.
of challengers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I hope he does, but
Yeah.
I kind of doubt it.
yeah. Me too.
He'll make runs, but I think like realistically right now, I think guys like Korda, Tommy Paul, Francis Tiafoe, and Taylor Fritz, I think all those guys have probably the same odds to win a major. And I would say it's 100 to 1. I would say there's like a 1% chance that one of those guys gets a major in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a chance though.
Yeah. Which one of
It's-
them has like a weapon, really though? Like you need
Taylor
to
Fritz
have like
forehand,
yeah. And
Tommy
pretty
Paul
great serve.
speed and endurance.
I don't think that wins a major these days. Just because
Francis Tiafoe, the ability to get the crowd involved.
endurance is the superpower if it's like significantly better than other people's. But the problem is Djokovic and Alcaraz are like so far up there that it's like it's not gonna even matter.
Well, what about Tommy Paul and his he has great endurance, but his speed, he's so fast. Like he gets to everything.
Yeah, so someone like him could be really good on clay, but he probably doesn't have a lot of clay training, and he's shorter. So he's probably not good on clay either, is he?
I'm sure he gets his experience with the USTA National Center. Remember, we saw him down there.
Yeah, but I mean, just Americans generally are just not good on clay.
Yeah.
I remember that,
enough. He
Isaac.
didn't grow up playing on clay.
I remember Coach Murray, our college coach, being like, "Guys, this is Tommy Paul," and my first thought was like, "Sounds like a porn star."
He does.
And he's a looker too. I mean, he could pull it off.
Oh yeah.
Back to the couples though, we forgot a couple of critical ones. Jimmy Connors and Chris Everett, they dated for a while. And Anna Kournikova and Enrique Iglesias, they have kids. They made babies.
I would.
Anyone seen what, Rick, or what, Jared?
I would like to add Vic and Missy Youngs to the conversation.
Ooh.
Tennis
Power couple.
legends in their own right.
Yeah, they met at the EDC tournament back in the day. Vic was running the tournament, which I'm sure he did a fine job of, and he saw some Rocket coaching the Bruins, and he said, "Will you help me make the draws?" And you know, that one thing led to another. And he asked her out on a first date to wear not the Cork and Cleaver, not Rustica, not the Four Seasons, to Paradiso, baby.
Oh yeah.
And the rest is history. Proposed to her on a bench at our old lake place. That bench was later destroyed in a windstorm. It is now, I think, in 15 different pieces rotting on the side of our house, but it's there. But yeah, they love tennis.
Rest in peace, that bench, but not their merit though. So
Yeah.
Nope. As far as I know, I think they're still together. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's just a perfect way to end this video. So we'll end her there.